All right, welcome to part 2 of the ball joint arm assembly exercise. What we're going to do today is we're going to add to the socket on the other end of the ball from the on the ball joint assembly to accept a second ball so we can put an actual assembly together. What you need to do is go ahead and start up SolidWorks and open up your part 1 ball joint assembly piece. And it's coming up. Okay, some of the tools that we're going to be using today for sketch. We're going to be using a construction center line. We're going to be using 2 circles, a 3-point arc, a small line. We're going to be using revolved boss base at a limited amount. We're only going to use a 75% or a 75 degree rotational extrusion. We're going to be using fillets. We're going to be using mirrors. We're going to be using a lot of tools. The actual sketch itself is going to be very, very small, but we actually create a sketch that's much larger. So we're going to create a whole bunch of stuff in order to erase a whole bunch of stuff. So what we're going to do, again, we've got the socket down here that will accept the adjacent ball from another ball joint arm, but we have nothing to hold it in place, so we're going to put the retaining clips either on either side. We're going to put one down here, one up here. We're only going to do one sketch, and we'll do a mirror a little bit later. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and hit front plane and open a sketch. And normal. Just so we're not too confused, I'm going to go ahead and expand these plane boundary lines. You don't have to do this. I do it just to get it out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to need a center construction line, which is the dotted line. And I'm basically going to make the x-axis show up. There. The sketch itself is going to be attached down here with a little bitty line. It's going to be 2 arcs that come out, 2 parallel arcs with a little arc on the end that will form the claw. So I'm going to start off with 2 circles. They're going to be concentric, which means they're going to be sharing the same centers, but one's going to be bigger than the other. The first circle I'm going to draw, I'm going to start off on the x-axis, make it smaller than the edge here on the right side of the figure, and the second one's going to have the same center, but I'm going to make it bigger. So one inside, one outside. Okay, this is where things are going to start getting very strange. I need to create some relationships to make my life a lot easier. Okay, adding relations can be a pain. It can be an option, but in this case, it's almost mandatory to make things easier. Okay, so in the first sketch, we create a circle on the end of this profile. If the center point is on this x-axis, that means you're going to have a nice arc on the inside. We're going to match that arc with this inside circle. So I'm going to have to create a relationship. So I'm going to turn this where I can get to the end and zoom in so I can see this circle, the inner circle. We're not going to deal with the outer circle just yet. And I need to get to that arc. There it is. That's what I need. So I'm going to go ahead and add relation. Make sure this is clear. If not, you'll right click and clear selections. Come over here. I want that arc. Kind of have to mouse around to find it. Once it shows up, click it and then click the circle. The relationship we're going to add is co-radial. This does a couple of things. One, obviously it moved the centers over. Second, it automatically makes the radius exactly what the radius of the original circle in sketch 1. It makes the exact same radius. And and that makes it collinear, if you can actually have something that's collinear. So wherever that circle goes on sketch 1, this circle is going to go with it. If we go in here and move it, it's going to move with it. If we adjust the size, this is going to be adjusted automatically. So this circle, for all intents and purposes, is now fully defined, even though it doesn't. Yep, it is black, so it is now fully defined. I'm going to go back to normal. Smart dimension. Okay. We're going to make that diameter 0.900, which gives us a radius of 0.450. That's going to produce a nice thick claw right here so we don't have any parts breakage. Okay, so now what we need to do is we're going to add a little bitty rounded tip down here by using the 3-point arc. Let's get out of dimension. Come over here to the arc tool and select 3-point arc. This is going to be weird. One of the many weird things that are going to be happening. I'm going to zoom in down here. I can see the center. Okay, so with a 3-point arc, it's 3 mouse clicks. The first mouse click is where we're going to want the arc to start. The second mouse click is where we want the arc to stop. And then the third click is going to be the radius. So the first place I want to do is I want to attach it to the inside circle. And I can draw it out. And you can see some automatic alignment lines that are already creating. One is in parallel with the, I guess you could say parallel, or is in line with the center of the circle. And the other one is a tangent going 90 degrees to that radius line. I want this end to match up with the radius line. As you can see, the radius line is now blue on the outside circle. I'm going to click again. Now I'm going to drag it out, and I want this. You can see the radius line is now completely dotted. I'm going to go ahead and click that. So that's my arc. I know it was a little weird. Okay, now what we have to do is that we have to establish something called tangent relationships. If we don't do this, these 3 points will not stay in line. We need these 3 points to stay in line. In a moment, we're going to add a measurement to this center point in relation to this line here. If we don't set up these tangent relationships with these 2 points, these points will stay in place. This will move up, and then the arc will bubble out. It's really ugly, and no, you don't want to see it. So we're going to go ahead and go to Add Relations. Make sure this is clear. Hit the inner circle. Hit the little bubble arc here. And we're going to go tangent. And you can see the tangent relationship has now been established. So these 2 points are now locked in place. So if this one moves too. And that's what we want. Click off. Come over here, add relation. Again, make sure it's clear. I want the outer circle and then the little bubble arc right there. No, I don't want the point. Sometimes that happens. Just a simple right click and a delete, and then tangent. Speaking of measurements, we're going to go to Smart Dimension. Drag down from the center line here, from our construction center line to the center point, and we're going to set that at 0.250, and that will give us a much longer piece right here. If I didn't do those 2 tangent relationships, those 2 points would have stayed right there, and this thing would have bubbled out. It would have been really strange. Let's get out of dimension. Okay, now if we're going to do any type of an extrusion, we have to have a closed figure, and we don't have a closed figure yet because we've got this here, and I need this little line right here. A couple of things we can do, but the safest thing is to convert entities. I need a line that's going to be collinear with this edge down here, and I need it locked in place. Now, I can go ahead and draw a line and then try and develop some relationships. I've had some success with this in the past, and I've had some failures with this in the past by doing different things. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I want to mouse up to the bottom, and as soon as the edge, not the entire face, but the edge turns orange, I'm going to click it. There. Now it's blue. Come up here to convert entities. I'm going to convert that edge, which happens to be in line with our plane making the line. I'm going to convert entities and make it a solid line. And all the relationships have now been established. So now you can see it. But I only need this little bitty part. Okay, so now our sketch is completed. That's it? Yeah, that's it. That's all we had to do. We need to get rid of this line, all these arcs, and the only thing we need is this little bitty line, this inside arc, and this. So we just need just this little finger right here. So we're going to go to Trim Entities, trim to closest. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to turn this down, come over here to Revolve 1, which is my main extrusion, and I'm going to go ahead and hide it just so I can see stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and click that line, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. You'll notice that it didn't get rid of the entire thing. It's because we've got an intersecting line, and it goes from point to point. There, got that. And that. And that. You'll notice that this right here is just an extension line for this arc to give us the 0.9 in diameter. There. That's all we need. I'm going to go ahead and make our extrusion show up again. Get rid of the trim. And that's it. Turn that to the side so you can see it. That's all we need. Okay, so now it's time to do our Revolve Boss Base. Go to Features, Revolve Boss Base. I'm going to go ahead and do 75 degrees. It's interesting that mine went ahead and selected the line automatically. If it didn't do that, you want to click this line here. Now, I also want to make this a mid-plane extrusion, so that the sketch is in the middle of the actual extrusion itself, just 75 degrees mid-plane. And we do want to merge results. We should have nothing else selected. There. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to rotate it this direction. I want to add a fillet on this edge right here at 0.08 inches. 0.08 inches. It's going to add some material to make it stronger right there. And then click out of that. I'm also going to add a 0.015 fillet to this edge and its mating side over here, or its reflection side over here, to make it a little smoother and easier to put the parts together. So 0.015. I'll be thinking, well, wait a minute, sir, don't we have to do the mirror first? Nope. Okay, so I want that edge, which wraps it all the way around, and I want that edge, which wraps it all the way around. Okay. Now what we are going to do is that we're going to take this, and this, and we are going to mirror it over the intersecting plane through here and make it show up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click mirror. The face that I want, I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. I want the top plane. So you can see that's the mirror. Features to mirror. I want revolve number 2. I want the fillet number 1 and the fillet number 2. So I can list them all off right here, and I'll simply copy it. That's it. All that work just for that. Since this is already saved as your last name, first name, BJA, go ahead and just hit the save button, and then re-email me the SLD PRT file. And then go ahead and set up for your print. You're going to be using Cura, and then you're going to actually create 2 of these, and then you'll turn those in. That's all I've got for you.